I've got this set up here for you so you can see all of your slides, and you just touch on them and it'll change the slide for you.
Okay.
And you'll see it'll put an orange box around whichever one you selected as well.
That does sound like Janella told me that.
Yep.
So it
And
sounds
then
like it's
if
so
for
easy.
any reason this disconnects, you have this keyboard down here as well, and you can use the arrow keys as well
Oh,
to
okay.
to go through it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
I see Davis. Oh, wow. saying only? Here, come there. I see you. Wait, you see me? Yeah. I'm wearing my little master shirt. Yeah, we're just looking.
Hey, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm Lella. I'm the director of Preschool Partners, and I'm so happy that all of my Preschool Partners peeps are here today. So most of you will get a shout out too. But I also want to say that I have shamelessly included my children and grandchildren in the pictures. So be on the lookout for that. I know some of you have been to Preschool Partners, but some of you may not. You might drive by the school and think, I wonder what that is. Or you might know, oh, that's Preschool Partners. But you don't really know until you come into the building and see the faces of the families we serve. So today I'm going to tell you not only about our program and our history, but the involvement of St. Luke's, because some of you might not know that history. So I'm going to begin with our founders. This is great. That did work. Bill Black and Jeanette Hancock, who were both members of St. Luke's, had been tutoring in the Birmingham City schools, and the children they were tutoring were so far behind they couldn't catch them up. They would drop down to third grade, second grade, first grade, and they just saw this isn't working. So they realized they needed to start a preschool program so that children from North Birmingham could have the skills they needed to be successful in kindergarten. Because all research shows if children start school behind, they stay behind. So Bill and Jeanette started Preschool Partners. Did you know that 90% of a child's brain is developed by the age of 5? Neither do Bill and Jeanette, which is what I love. They were so ahead of their time, but they knew how important education was. So Jeanette tells me all the time, y'all, she says, we didn't know nothing about nothing when we started this program, and that's probably true. Bill was retired from Bell South, and so they did not have education backgrounds. But they were so ahead of their time because in 1995, nobody was talking about the importance of early education, and they certainly weren't talking about the importance of parental involvement. But Bill and Jeanette, sorry y'all, knew that children from low-income families needed and deserved a quality preschool education, but it wasn't available to them. They did not have that option, so Bill and Jeanette created it for them. And they made parental involvement a requirement of the program, which is what makes us so unique and sets us apart from other programs. And it's also why we're named Preschool Partners. We are partners with our parents. Our two-generation approach is what makes us so successful and so unique. Preschool Partners was founded on the belief that every child deserves a quality early education, regardless of their parents' ability to pay for it. We are providing programs and services that no other program provides to a population that no one else is serving. Most schools that look like ours are serving affluent families, and they might have a few scholarships for low-income families, but that's not their target audience. But at Preschool Partners, that's not the case. Low-income families are our target audience. This year, 67% of our families are considered living at or below the poverty line. Most of our families only pay $100 a month for their child to attend Preschool Partners. And if you've ever paid for tuition in preschools, you know that is not the norm. They're exorbitant. I know, even right here, it's just not the norm. So the actual cost per student at Preschool Partners is $14,000 a year. So we have to make that up every year. But we never turn a family away for their inability to pay. We waive tuition all the time. In 2020, it was like, you get free tuition, you get free tuition. That was a unique year. So we never turn anybody away for that. Nationally, low-income children face a 27-point kindergarten readiness gap. But at Preschool Partners last year and the year before, 100% of our children tested ready for kindergarten. So we are still closing that gap and building a foundation of our student success thanks to Bill and Jeanette. And we've been doing it for 30 years before the rest of the world realized the importance of early education and parental involvement. And this year, to date, we have served over 1,750 children and their parents. So we started off right here at St. Luke's. Look how old Graham Hall. That's Graham Hall. Look, I think we've done a much better job. It's a much more friendly place now. Our program was born and raised at St. Luke's, and we remain one of the largest outreach programs of St. Luke's. John Claypool helped us get started. And he allowed us to meet here every Monday. So we had our parent program here on Mondays. And people like Wayne Hoare and Patsy Beard used to drive the vans. You remember that? We had, we used the YWCA vans. We had vans from all over the town, so we would come here. It was hysterical. Wayne had just retired, and yeah, we put him to good work. And then the rest of the week, our classes were at Southside Baptist. And do y'all see Gina? Up there, she was our music teacher for years. So you're going to see a lot of St. Luke's tie-ins as you see this. So the rest of the week, we were at Southside Baptist, which they were, this is sad, yeah. They were very generous to let us operate their school out of their basement, and we greatly appreciated it. But it did come with some issues. The classrooms were old and dreary with tables that were so beat up the children couldn't learn to write their names because of all the indentations in their tables. And it also had that really sad playground, you see? Let me see. Look, here it is. This is the before. You see that giant concrete planter or fountain? It was cemented into the ground, so that's not a hazard at all with children running around on a playground. I mean, it was not a safe playground. We also had to deal with the homeless down there, and we had one man in particular who thought the playhouse was his home. So he slept there at nights, and he would leave red wine stain bottles. I'm like, switch to white wine. It would be so much easier. So he would leave that and some razors behind, so we had to do a sweep every morning when we would come in. And there were a few times when I would have to wake him up and say, it's time to go. The bus is going to be here in a few minutes. You got to get out of here. So we were there for about 8 years, and that's when Rich, or the preacher man as he's known, arrived on the scene. And one of the first things he did when he got to St. Luke's was to bless our playground. And he always makes fun of the playground. But y'all look at the before, okay? And he's like, you were so proud of that playground. I'm like, well, because that's what it looked like. He didn't see that. This is what it looked like after. And it's teeny still, but at least it was beautiful. We crammed so much on that playground, y'all. And it had that artificial turf. It was wonderful. So I was proud of that. So then it was time. Southside Baptist was having a capital campaign. So we had to move out of their basement and move over to Trinity Presbyterian Church. And that's the kind of the funky church on the corner of Montevallo and Oporto, Madrid. You've seen it. Our sign is actually still there. If you notice, if you look hard enough, you'll see it as you drive by. And that location also had its challenges because the church folded shortly after we got there. And so guess who became the building manager? And it had a flat roof. You know what Rich always says about flat roofs. Never take a church with a flat roof. And he was right. But it had a flat roof. And Caroline Bailey was on our board at the time. And she said, oh, Robin will fix that. Y'all can hear Caroline say, oh, Robin will fix that. And he'll do it at no cost. But she forgot to tell him it was at no cost. So it worked out, got done. But we also had to build a new playground there. So you can see it here because they didn't have a playground. So we needed a playground for that. And Rich brought Mr. John Darnold over to look at it from Brassfield Gorey to see the area. And he looked at it and he said, that's a lot of concrete. But he made it happen. So once again, we have this beautiful facility. So now, yeah, I see a handsome young man up there. You see him? That's my grandson. Now, as anyone who has ever worked at a church will tell you, people are always coming to a church asking for help because that's what churches do. They help people. But since the church had folded, there was nobody in the church office, so people would invariably find their way down to our area to ask for help. And while a lot of people understood, okay, I get it, y'all aren't part of the church, you can't really help me, not everybody was so nice. We had some people who would get angry and aggressive. We received a few threatening notes, and when I called Birmingham police, they were so not worried about it. I know they have so many other things to worry about, but they're like, yeah, you're fine. So we decided to put in a camera system so at least we could see people coming and to know whether or not we should answer the door. They weren't glass doors, so we didn't know who was coming. So we did put in a camera system, and there's a reason I'm going to tell you about that that'll come to in a minute. So we had been at Trinity Presbyterian for about 8 years when we realized we really need to get out of here. The facility, the church was falling apart fast, and they were trying to sell it, so we needed to make a move. Now, this was around the time that I had just hired Allison Moran as our program director. But before Allison would accept the job, she had to talk to her brother Thomas first, because Thomas was dating my daughter. And so she wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to do something stupid like dump her. So Thomas gave her the go-ahead and said, all right, take the job, which she did. And by the way, Bradshaw and Thomas celebrated have their 11th anniversary in May. So that all worked out. But Allison had told her in-laws, Kathy and Mike Moran, that Preschool Partners wanted to expand, but we didn't have the space or the means to do so. And I had never met Kathy and Mike at this point, so I didn't know who they were. But late one afternoon, when this is where the cameras come in, when everybody else had gone, I saw a man approaching the building, and I'm looking out, and I don't know who it is, but I'm like, well, he looks pretty nice. I don't think he'll hurt me. So I answered the door, and this is the truth, y'all. So I'm holding the door open. He says, hey, I'm Mike Moran. You just hired my daughter-in-law, Allison, and she told me y'all were interested in expanding the program but couldn't do it here. So Kathy and I were thinking, why don't we buy McElwain Elementary School for you? And I was like, come on in. And that's literally what happened. And he bought it. He and Kathy bought the building for us, and that's how we started our beautiful campaign for our beautiful school. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful? So that's at the groundbreaking, and you see Jeanette and Jennifer Gray, who is Bill Black's daughter, with the ribbon cutting, and our beautiful playground, and that was made possible by members of St. Luke's, the Johnson Family Foundation. There's so many St. Luke's tie-ins, I promise you. So our building committee also was made up mostly of St. Lukers, including John Gardner, Allison and Lewis Moran, Aline and Anderson Neighbors. Aline was our director of development at the time, so she led the capital campaign. Pete Pritchard, if anybody knows Pete, he's the greatest guy in the world. I'm his #1 fan. He knows it, but tell him anyway. He designed our building free of charge. As you can imagine, we met for over a year and a half. Every other week we were meeting on getting the building. He went and toured facilities with us, so Pete is my hero. And then Turner Burton of Hoare Construction oversaw the construction of the school. And then at the end of that, Hoare Construction gifted back the proceeds to our capital campaign. That's pretty hard to believe, but that happened. We moved into our beautiful facility in June of 2015, so it's been 10 years. We're in our 10th year. And that allowed us to grow even more. So we added a 2-year-old program in 2017. We also implemented cultural, racial, and socioeconomic diversity that year. We opened up space for a limited amount of financially stable families to enroll at Preschool Partners. So we will take no more than 35% of families that are financially stable, and 65% must be at or below the poverty line. So now I'm going to show you this. So this is our first year. See anybody you know? Isn't that cute? So you can see, and you see the Baggett's, Maggie Baggett with her daughter. So I wanted to fill this with some St. Lukers. But a study had just come out about the importance of having socioeconomic diversity in the classroom. So we decided to try it. This was the perfect time to do it. The results were amazing. We knew what to expect in the 2-year-old program in the classrooms. We knew children don't see color. They don't see any differences at all. They just want to play. But we didn't expect to see what we saw in the parent program, and it was magic. We're bridging communities and parents that never would have connected otherwise. And they're all in the weeds together, everybody. I mean, potty training's not fun, so we talk about that. So everybody's doing the same thing, or temper tantrums, dealing with that. So we were having play dates, attending birthday parties, and we even have t-ball teams, y'all. So we play at Southside. If y'all ever want to come to Avondale and see one of our games, that's what we do. And of all the growth and all the changes over the years, I think adding the diverse classrooms has had the greatest impact. People in Birmingham want diversity, but it's really hard to find. So we're very proud that we are doing that at Preschool Partners. Now I want to show you this. Look at these young people. Several years ago, St. Luke's started giving a college scholarship to graduates of Preschool Partners, and this was because Bill Black really wanted that to happen, and so his memorials went towards this. So the St. Luke's Foundation provides a scholarship for one child for 4 years, and of course I didn't understand that it was just once every 4 years. So the next year I'm like, well, I've got some great applicants, and they're like, oh no, you have one for 4 years. I'm like, well, that's not going to work. So Preschool Partners decided that we were going to start providing scholarships too. So we provide 3 scholarships. So they're $4,000 scholarships per year, so $16,000 total, and they can be used for anything: two-year schools, four-year college, trade school, and we've had some do that. So we provided, it's great for the parents and the children. So we started doing that in 2021, and this past December, Deja on the left graduated from nursing school from the University of Troy, and then Johnny on the right is at Alabama A&M, and he will graduate in May in mechanical engineering. It's a shame these people aren't smart. And they got their start at Preschool Partners, and we're very proud of that. So I want to show you, this is our college scholarship fund. And St. Luke's member Bill Pitts, who is on our board, took this upon himself. He was like, we need to raise enough money so that we can fund these scholarships. And so he went out, and you'll see most of these people are members of St. Luke's. So we have this in our school to honor them for making this possible. So at this point, we can fund this in perpetuity. So we're thrilled that that fund is set up and done. So now I want to show y'all this. Our families recognize that Preschool Partners is the best education possible. So it's only natural that when our former students had their children, they want them to come to Preschool Partners too. They want them to have the same opportunity that they had. And we are very proud that we have had 12 former students go through at this point, second-generation students. And so their families are continuing the family tradition of going to Preschool Partners. And since this is our 30th year, y'all, I've been going through slides and pictures and looking at old things, bringing back memories. And I saw this picture of the little girl on the carousel with her grandfather. Her name is Daikiria. We were on a zoo field trip, so that's where we were. And I remembered her because her mother was battling cancer that year. And she'd been with us before. We'd had the brothers, but Mom wasn't there that year because she was battling cancer. And the prognosis was not good. It was really pretty dire. And the reason I remember this is because Daikiria was dressed as an angel for our Christmas program, which, Jeanette, you've seen 1,000 times. It's the same program. It has been the same program for 28 years. But we were at that door, and we were standing at that door, and I was about to tell her to go in, and she's dressed as an angel, and she turns around, and she looks at me, and she said, "Angels are real, you know, Miss Lella." Well, you know, that got me. That got me because this little girl probably thought her mama was about to become an angel. So it's something I'll never forget. Well, fast forward to this past July, I get a phone call from a mother who wants to register her little girl at Preschool Partners. And when I asked her name, she said it was Daikiria. I'm like, well, I know that name. And I said, did you go to Preschool Partners? And she said, I did. And she wanted to come back with her own little girl. And best of all, when I asked her how her mother was doing, she's doing great. She survived, and she's thriving. So that was a full circle moment right there. And that's Daikiria with her little girl named Summer. Isn't that cute? Let's see. Now, we've always known that Preschool Partners is the best, and I know I'm biased, I'll tell you that, but we wanted to prove how good we were. So we contracted with the University of Alabama 4.5 years ago to have them evaluate the program, and they had said, you know, I can't guarantee your results, what this is going to be. And I was like, I'm not worried about that. I know what the results are going to be. I just want somebody else to prove it, and that's what they did. So this is a quote from what they said from our researcher. Preschool Partners has reliably provided a quality early education to a diverse population of students from the Birmingham area. Each year, Preschool Partners produces one of the most kindergarten-ready cohorts of 4-year-olds in the country. They meet 95% to 100% of school readiness benchmarks on a regular basis, far exceeding even the most recognized high-quality preschool programs in the nation. I tell y'all all the time how great we are, the teachers, and it's like, they proved it. And that's not me saying it. So that's Dr. Carl Hamner. So we are very proud of that. But again, none of this would have happened without St. Luke's and without all of our supporters. So I want to show you our board of directors. Johnny Johns and Kate Cotton helped us get our 501(c)(3) status, which helped us grow. We had to come out of the umbrella of St. Luke's in order to grow. There were a lot of foundations that would not give money if you were a part of a church, so we had to have our own 501(c)(3) status. So we've had a lot of board members over the years who have worked tirelessly and dedicated their time and resources to us, and we have valued that connection to St. Luke's so much that in our bylaws it states that 1/3 of our board must be members of St. Luke's. So you can see that's the case. And in our advisory board, got Ben Owens in here today, almost all of them, I think everybody except for one, is a member of St. Luke's. Now, we also have stellar volunteers at school. Notice I snuck in another picture of my other daughter because this goes back to our volunteers over the years. Lucy Hawkins has been with us. Leslie, how long? 10 years. Volunteering with us for 10 years. We have Lucia back there. You volunteered with us. Yep. I mean, I didn't even see you back there. You know, we've had so many volunteers over the years. And our confirmation classes used to have prayer angels. So that's my daughter when she was, I guess, 15. 20 years ago. She had a birthday last week. So that was 20 years ago. So the tie-in with St. Luke's has always been there. And that's because we, too, are partners with St. Luke's. So let's see. Now, see if you recognize any of these people. Almost all of them are in the room today. We'll call out the two that are not. I'll talk to them tomorrow. But most of these, our staff is stellar, y'all. And that's wherever I go, whenever I talk to people, the secret to our success is our staff. They are here because they have a heart for teaching children. They love instilling a love of learning into our students, and they truly believe in our mission. They come to work every day knowing that they are making a difference. Look at these kiddos. So they say if you take a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I can tell you after 28 years, it's true. I have loved every minute of it. So that is it, y'all. I'm happy to answer any questions. If y'all have any questions or tell you anything. Yes, sir.
You talked about the finished program, how much better they're prepared to go to elementary school. I know we can start to track the records and accumulate, but how's that doing?
We did a study back before HIPAA. That's how long we've been doing this. Back before you couldn't do this, before the privacy laws, we actually tracked some of our students. And David Kimberlin was on our board and helped us do it through UAB. And we had a member of one of our board members worked for Birmingham City Schools. So we tracked our students from it was through 5th grade. And they did a really good job because David is smart like that. They compared apples to apples. So if it was a little boy who was being raised by a single mother who received free school lunch, who went to Preschool Partners, he was compared to the same thing, single mother, free lunch, who didn't go to Preschool Partners. And they found that our children were outperforming them by 77%. So that was a long time ago because we have not been able, and that was really one of the contracts with the University of Alabama. I put that to them. I was like, all right, y'all figure this out. And the first time they're like, yeah, we can do that. And then they came back a year later, yeah, we can't do that because of privacy laws. So we really count on the parents to come back and we're doing it like this year. I will every year when our children have graduated, like for the children who are in kindergarten right now, I will email all those parents from last year and say, how did your child do? It's just it's a survey, short 5 questions, and all of them are 100%. They were so prepared. It was great. I mean, we get great feedback from the families. So we do that every year. We do 2 evaluations every year during the school year from our parents. Like, let us know at the end of each semester, what are we doing right? What can we improve on? And we take their suggestions. We want this. This is truly a partnership. But our kids, I mean, and that's what Mary Ballard, her grandchildren spent the night, or she would be here. She was one of our longtime volunteers, too, and she's wonderful. She said, tell them about all the success stories. And I'm like, well, that's so broad, I can't. I mean, we have so many success stories of children over the years and how successful we just had awards day at Clay Chalkville, I think. We got a ton of pictures from the kindergartners, A honor roll, A, B honor roll. One of my favorites was perfect attendance. That sounds so trivial, but y'all, it's so important. They've got to be there, and they learn that at Preschool Partners. I always tell the parents, we're not only getting your child ready for kindergarten, we're getting you ready for kindergarten too. You have to get up, and you have to get your child to school. So that's a success story. We hear them all the time. It's just amazing what our children go on to do. Anybody that has this kind of start is going to be successful in school.
Can you speak to schools they go off to?
Yes. Yes. We targeted, when we started, it was at MacArthur Elementary, which was by Caraway Hospital, which was still open. That school folded, so we went to Norwood, and then we took on Woodlawn. So we had target areas. So we were providing bus transportation. So we would drive to those schools, pick them up, bring them here. Well, as time has gone on, with First Class, which is an Alabama pre-K preschool program, almost all of the schools in Birmingham now have a preschool. So we're competing with the Birmingham schools for 4-year-old students. So that has impacted our 4-year-old program. So that means we're really serving children from all over the community. We do have a ton of children from Centerpoint. I don't know why, but tons of children from Centerpoint. But the good thing is about serving everybody over the community, we have a lot of different schools they can go to. And now we have school choice in Birmingham. And what I mean by that, it used to be, and this used to break our hearts, and I know, Loretta, we talked about this one time. We had a little boy who came back to visit, wasn't it Gianni? And he came back to see us, it was when we were at Trinity, and he was so excited. He came jumping into school because he was Tigger. He bounced a lot, and he was so excited. But when it was time to leave, he burst into tears. And I knew it was because he's going back to a school that didn't look like ours, where he wasn't treated like he was with us. And it broke my heart. And we've always said it was so hard to get our children so ready for kindergarten. They had the best education possible. And then we're sending them out to failing schools. And they were all failing. So now we have school choice. So there are scholarships available for children to go to pretty much any private school in the city now. We have a child from last year who's at Highlands Day School on scholarship. She still had to test to get in, which of course she did because she went to Preschool Partners. We have children who got into Advent Day School. We have children, of course, I3, which we love, but it's a charter school, so it's lottery based. We can't guarantee them a spot there, but we would if we could. So our children now are going all over. It's very rare that we will have a child go to a Birmingham City school anymore. They come to Preschool Partners and see what a school should look like, and they want better for their children. So they're moving to Trustful, Hoover, other schools. They will go, I do have some that will go to a magnet school in Birmingham City, but if they don't get into that, they're going somewhere else.
Do you help facilitate those scholarships, and how do you do that?
We have 2 different scholarships available, and we bring them in. During the parent program on Mondays, we have people from the community come in and make announcements. So we give them 15 minutes, and so that's one of them. We've got Scholarships for Kids, which is a state-run. It's your taxes. You can divert your state taxes to the scholarship program. Instead of paying it to Alabama, you can say, I want to divert mine to Cornerstone, which we love. We do a lot with Cornerstone. You can send it to, you can designate the school, but that's where those scholarships are coming from. Restoration Academy, 100% of their students are scholarship-based. So all of these different programs like Cornerstone, Highlands, these scholarships are paid with your tax dollars. So we have Scholarships for Kids, and then the other one is the Goodriches. If y'all know Mike and Gillian, they have one called Renaissance Scholarships. So representatives from both of those come in and talk to our parents about that. We also partner with those schools. So I send out the registration forms for Highlands Day. Like they're having an open house. Y'all go check it out. I tell my parents of 4-year-olds, register everywhere. You can decide later where you want to go, but make sure you register now so that you have a choice. Because if you wait until March, they're full. They've already got their classes. So register now and then figure out where you want to go. But the schools, once they go there, they will help them with the scholarships. That's what their admin office will help them with those scholarships. But no. Now we do. Like they called us about this little girl last year, and we have to fill out forms for them and tell them, yes, she would be a great fit. This is a great mom, very involved, and so we get involved on that end. But we do not tell them where to go or what to do.
No, like little Susie's smart, so that's what
Oh yeah. Yeah, but the parents, I'm telling you, most parents, if they're choosing to come to Preschool Partners, it's not easy. They have to come every Monday from 8:30 to 10:30. This is not the easy choice. I always tell them that early on. Don't come here because you're getting reduced tuition. If that's all you're looking for, you're not going to be happy. We expect a lot from you. We want to be your partner. So they buy in. So if they come to Preschool Partners, they're pretty sharp parents. They're looking for something better for their children. It's just unattainable with their finances. Yes, sir. Very often. That is a great trend that we have seen over the years. I will tell you, one of my first days at Preschool Partners, very first day at school, I had to go tell a little boy about the inappropriate language he was using. I'll never forget. So it's like, that was pretty interesting, and it was used in the right context. But shortly after that, I was like, I knew where that came from. But shortly after that, I was hearing children say, well, I know who my daddy is. There was a lot of that. I'm like, I didn't understand that that was kind of a status thing. Well, that is not the case anymore, y'all. We have a lot of two-parent families, and they will trade off. Like, mom will come one Sunday, dad will come one Monday. So I love that the parents are both involved. It has been a great, great trend that I hope will continue.
Do you have other programs coming with your program?
We do. We've mentored a few foundations, and Fairfield is one. I worked with them. In fact, I just got an email from John the other day. We went out to their grand opening, reopening in their new facility. So we definitely worked with them a good bit. We've had several that I've talked to through the years, but a lot of they just won't do the parent program. And they're like, well, it's just too hard. And it is. But then you're not based on our model if you don't have the required parental involvement.
Well, thanks for your time here. I hope you get a chance to have a picture out a little bit. And I hope you don't go too far.
I'm not going anywhere. I can tell you, I'm right down the street, and we'll see. I mean, I will definitely do that. I've told them I won't bother them for the first year. We got to let somebody else get established, and then I'll maybe come back the year after that. Thank you. You're kind. I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate y'all being here today. For those of you that showed up for Rich, I apologize. Sorry. But thank y'all. I appreciate it. And all St. Luke's has done for us through the year. So thank you. Do you like seeing your pictures?